If you have seen this report, you should be worried as somebody who supports a new system in Nigeria. If you have seen this report, you need to be very, very worried. From Sahara Reporters, be very worried. One of the reasons why I'm saying that you should be worried is that this government has a mysterious way of passing information, coded information to its people. It doesn't care about the sanctity of human lives. It doesn't care about its responsibility of protecting the lives of those that are in its custody. Yoruba Nation agitator dies in prison, according to Sahara Reporters, is another news that the Biafran agitation will not take lightly, because at the end of the day, we don't want to hear that Nnamdi Kanu also died in prison. If that is their plan, they should let go of it. It's not going to work. Yoruba Nation agitator that went to attack Oyo government house eventually dies in prison. And when I looked at this report, I looked at it and I saw some reactions. When we say that these people have a link with the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you say that we are saying fallacies. This is from confirmed Yoruba boy. He says, very sad development. The saddest thing is these people were actually indirectly working for Tinubu. Tinubu hired one deranged woman called Dupe Onitiri, was claimed to be late MKO Abiola's wife, to destabilize the Yoruba sovereignty movement being championed by Professor Akintoye and Chief Sunday Igbo. This crazy woman was able to convince some gullible fellows, even though we warned them, but she actually was paying them, and they kept following her foolish and criminal narratives until they were arrested. Trust Tinubu at your peril. They were left dead after being promised that nothing will happen to them. Tinubu and his team feigned ignorance of them. The woman disappeared, and here they are. I feel for his family. So it's actually confirmed that this Yoruba Nation agitator, no name, no picture, died in prison. Now, we are much more concerned about one of the greatest agitators of all time, which is Nnamdi Kanu. We are concerned about his health and his life. No judge is on his case now. We heard that Binta Nyako is coming to take over the case again. Maybe they have looked for a judge that might compromise justice, fairness, and equity. They have not seen. Maybe Binta might be still the right choice for them to still hold on Nnamdi Kanu at the court. We hope that nothing happens to Nnamdi Kanu, because if anything happens to Nnamdi Kanu, we don't need to talk much. Let's not go that route, because most times when we talk too much, I look as if we don't know or we are not serious. But the Nigerian government knows very importantly how Nnamdi Kanu is the Southeast, how Nnamdi Kanu holds the Southeast under his palm. Anything that happens to Nnamdi Kanu happens to every Southeasterner at this point in time. Let me repeat, anything that happens to Nnamdi Kanu happens to every Southeastern person, every Igbo person, every Biafran person. He's been held in captivity. The whole of Southeast is under captivity. If he's released, the whole of Southeast have been released from captivity. We are all with Nnamdi Kanu in DSS custody. Then if he's being killed, or if he dies in custody, that means the whole of Southeast would go with him wherever he's going to. And if we hear the news that an agitator died in prison without name or picture, or just without name or picture to identify the person, and they just throw it, let's see what they will say. Let's hear what they are going to say. Maybe if they don't say anything or take it serious, then we can achieve our main aim of silencing their guy, Nnamdi Kanu. We know the game, we know how it's being played, but we assure you, according to Buhari, we assure you that this is not child's play. Like I narrated to you, every young person now see Nnamdi Kanu as somebody that will liberate the Southeast. The consciousness that Nnamdi Kanu has brought to every Southeasterner has never been done by anybody in the history of Biafra agitation. the consciousness. People thought that after Ojukwu surrendered, Biafra would die a natural death. Then they saw Imasob, then they saw Nnamdi Kanu, and it all becomes sophisticated at every point in time. You can't stop this ideology. Well, you are going to get a lot of backlash from the Igbo community, the Biafran community, if eventually we hear or we just get the news that he's down. Nnamdi Kanu is down, critically down. Then you understand why I said that the whole of the Southeast are the life Nnamdi Kanu is living is dependent on the existence of every Southeasterner. I will not say I don't care if any agitator, Yoruba Nation agitator, dies in prison. I will not say so, because most of them are fighting for this just cause. It's a just cause. Like I said, the system will not work. The Nigerian system does not work for you. Look at what the World Bank is saying, that we should not tamper with Tinubu policies. Let's wait for 15 years. Now, Tinubu policies killing Nigerians, killing the economy, killing the future of those in Africa. Now, the World Bank, another body, most African leaders have left the World Bank and IMF because they have noticed that these people are bent on impoverishing them. But yet, this is a Nigerian leader that is in love, that is in bed with the World Bank, so that they can use their policies to destroy the future of Africans. This is a system that we are all running away from. In so many ways, this country does not have the potential of working. You see, people will try and try. We did a policy, we did this, we did that, we did this, we inaugurated this. At the end of the day, over 60 years, they have not been able to fix any sector of the economy. The stories we hear it every other day, every other time. What the Tinubu's government is doing, the propaganda, the reports, the giant strides we hear, we are hearing every other. We have heard it since we were born. At the end of the day, Nigeria is getting deep into debt. The more you look, the less you see. I'm not going to start explaining for you how the system will not work. I've been saying it over and over again, but I'm much more interested with this mysterious report that somebody died in, an agitator died in prison. I hope it's just going to end with the Yoruba agitation. It doesn't have to be with Nnamdi Kanu. So many agitators have died in prison, which are from the Biafra agitations. Those that have been arrested, they call them IPOB and they take them to prison. And we don't know their whereabouts. Their organs are harvested. So many things happen to them according to reports. We know. But it doesn't have to extend to Nnamdi Kanu, because these people are desperate. The Fulani are desperate to make sure that they quench the light of Biafra, which is with Nnamdi Kanu. Although, even if Nnamdi Kanu is no more, he said that greater people will rise after him to defend the land of these people. Greater people would rise after Nnamdi Kanu. And we need to understand so many things. So many things. That 1967 is different from what we are seeing today. 1967 is totally different. We have learned lessons, and the lessons are being learned. We know that the government is fighting on a political level, an economical level. They want to make sure that they cripple the Southeast economically. That's the war they are fighting. But any open confrontation would not help the Nigerian state. The Nigerian state cannot survive any open confrontation. If any country, if Nigeria want to go to war with any country, anyone, they are going to lose the economy. The economy that is just surviving, barely surviving, they are going to lose a lot. They cannot fund any war. Nigerian state, the economy, cannot fund any war. Anything that has to do with the disruption of an activity or the economic activity in Nigeria, anything, just ordinary protests. If a protest is done in Nigeria and grounds the country for 1 month, is going to affect. It's going to affect the. In fact, Nigeria may be dead if any protest at all is being held in Nigeria. They ground social economic activities for 1 month. Then it will tell you how weak Nigeria is compared to 1967. Not to talk of a full-blown war whereby everybody is at a standstill for months. For months. You see, the Nigerian government knows very well that it should not, it cannot, and it will not tamper Nnamdi Kanu. Even the Southeast governors and the politicians that really want Nnamdi Kanu to die in prison, they dare not. If anything happens to Nnamdi Kanu, we are going to start asking Igbo politicians the questions that they need to answer. We are not asking you any question now because we know that you are much more interested in your personal interest than the interest of your people, the people you serve. Look at what Agitator Kalu is saying. Tinubu goes out at night. Tinubu goes out at night to feel the pains that Nigerians are feeling. Look at what somebody, a supposed leader in Igbo land, supposed senator in Abia State, governor for 8 years, stole the state blind. A governor for 8 years is coming to tell Nigerians that the president goes out at night to feel the plight of Nigerians. How does he go? You see, we have most useless leaders from Igbo extraction. Most useless of all time. The kind of leaders the Fulani are breeding for the Igbo nation, Igbo society, they are the most useless of all. Mention one. Look at what is happening at the house. What is happening? The senators, Igbo senators, no one is brave enough to stand up against the northern counterparts. Now, especially southern senators. Nobody is brave enough. The Southwest alliance with the North, we understand that. But as an Igbo man, you stand on your feet. You are not kneeling down before anybody. You stand on your feet as an Igbo man. But these senators, these Igbo politicians, I don't know where they come from. Most times we will try to understand, try to look at their lineage, their genealogy, whether they are really Igbo people. No leader has been able to bring the consciousness of the Biafran agitation like Nnamdi Kanu, unlike every other Igbo politician. Look at Ifeanyi Ubah and the allegations. Look at how he ended. Look at Ekweremadu, despite being in the Senate for a very long time, no benefit brought to the Southeast. Look at Uzodinma, Okorocha and the likes. They are just there for their selfish interest. No single leader in Igbo land, political leader in Igbo land, you can say has the backing of the people except Nnamdi Kanu. I'm trying to let you understand the importance of Nnamdi Kanu. Let me explain one more. Many people were not subscribing to this Biafran agitation. Many people. Until Nnamdi Kanu came. The consciousness, he awakened the minds of millions of Biafrans. Now, these Biafrans, these Igbo people, are united with a common cause to achieve. See, both those that are working in the Nigerian government, those that you see are just speaking grammar on social media or wherever, holding positions, you would think that they don't support this man. When it happens that the news breaks that in prison, Nnamdi Kanu is no more, or he slumped or whatever, he died as a result of illness, then you understand. The language that the Nigerian government understands will be spoken to them at the appropriate time by the Nigerian people, by the Biafran people. Because you don't set the country on fire by killing somebody that a particular region holds dear. You don't try it. It's not the wise decision. And I trust President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for that. He's not going to try that. Buhari couldn't and wouldn't try it. Couldn't and wouldn't try it. The last thing Nigeria wants is destabilization. Destabilizing the economy. Because the economy, as we speak, is on life support. Any little thing that will make Nigeria want to go out to want to disrupt its economic activity, anything that will make the country stop its social, political, and economic activity would further ground the country. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is an exception. If the Yoruba agitation would take this lightly, let them take it lightly, because we are at this point, we are all fighting. We are supposed to be fighting together, but it over the years, it has become very, very imperative that it is very hard for you to trust a Southwesterner. With what is happening in Nigeria today, it is very hard for some people to trust Southwesterners. Those people that are in the NLC, the Southwesterners in NLC, Southwesterners in PDP. See, they use different eyes to look at them. This one, that these people are in this party. Now that Tinubu is in power, won't these people sabotage? I read to you what somebody said, that these guys is a Yoruba person, that these guys were working indirectly for Tinubu. He said that Tinubu recruited one Dupe Onitiri, who claimed to be late MKO Abiola's wife, to destabilize Yoruba sovereignty. So when he says backstabbing and somebody that would eventually disappoint you in any struggle, people are finding it difficult to trust a Southwesterner. I'm not saying that there are no people, but when it becomes rampant, you can see what's happening in the Labour Party. You can see what's happening in the NLC. You can see what is happening in government quarters, whereby supposed Yorubanization is going on. And when, for instance, Tinubu is president, and there's something happening in the ministry, somebody can easily go and meet the president. I work in this ministry, this is what is happening. Let's get these people out and put our brother there. It is possible it is rampant with Southwesterners. I asked Southwesterners this question: what are the things that you don't like about Southwesterners? They said their way is not pure, that they are neither here nor there. This is the report from a Southwesterner. So Yoruba agitation, I don't understand. I don't know how it's going to be. Although even in the Biafra agitation, there are people like that. People like that. It will surprise you that in the Southeast we have APC states, 2 APC states in Ebonyi and in Imo State. It will surprise you. The other time, people were boasting and saying that no APC cannot come to the Southeast. But look at APC. You're also boasting that Hope Uzodinma would never win the election. But Hope Uzodinma shocked everybody, and those that were making him out. He won 27 local governments, hands down. I don't know how he won it, but I just believe that the people did not vote it, but yet he won it. So it happens everywhere. So everybody needs to stand on his feet now and start watching. We don't need to talk too much, because I'm not going to start talking on those areas again. We have said it. Nothing should happen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It is for the good of the country. It's for the good of Nigerian sovereignty. Nothing should happen to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Let justice prevail. You see, how do you explain that he died in custody? You were told to take him to Kirikiri. You were told to take him to where the law is telling you this is where he's supposed to be. You were asked to release him, you refused to release him. You know how dicey his case is. You know the interests he holds. Somebody said Nnamdi Kanu is bigger than Nigeria and Africa. I might well agree. Because what it is now, people that are rising up to that consciousness, people that are rising up to discover themselves as Igbo people all over the world, is as a result of what is happening in the Southeast. Everybody is alert. Everybody's on their feet. We are watching the next step that will be taken. We are watching and we are looking. We are getting enough resources on our hands to make sure that we deliver Africa from the grip of these evil people. Hossein Rufai, Arise TV journalist, said that with the kind of leaders we have today, there's no hope for Nigeria. And we need to change that narrative. There's no hope for Nigeria. It is just true. Forget English-speaking professors that are very stupid, foolish. Forget technocrats that are just speaking rubbish and nonsense. At the end of the day, your English, your rubbish you're speaking amounts to nothing. It does not negate the fact that the system we are running today, the leaders we have today, will take Nigerians nowhere. They are just puppet by the West. They are puppet by the West. They are being controlled by the West. That's why Jonathan, I repeat myself, will complain that Obama interfered in his election. He refused to become a puppet by the United States, and they interfered in the election, which brought in Buhari. Disaster. Tinubu told us, have patience with Buhari. He supported Buhari. He brought in Buhari. Nigerians saw Buhari after 8 years, such hell after 8 years, still went on to vehemently support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Many people are against P2B now. What's the reason? The APC is demarketing P2B to some gullible people, and they say, I regretted voting P2B, this, that is unpresidential. You see, Southerners are too emotional. They don't have principles. That's why they are where they are. That's why black men can be controlled by white men. No principle. They can't stand for anything. They can't die for anything. There's nothing that they are just there, like vegetables. They are to be used. People are afraid to come out for protest. But you see that petrol tanker that fell, that killed over 90 people. People are afraid to risk their lives to make the country better. But they chose the risk to go and scoop fuel from a falling tanker. They chose to die through that means and go to hellfire because you are stealing. You refuse to come out to sacrifice your life for protest, but yet greed, evil. That's why Nigerians, we as Igbos, we need to disassociate ourselves from some kind of persons. We are not meant to be in a society, this society together.